fancy intro music. Yeah! Woo! Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel, and today I want to hit on a couple of topics, including new primes in the game, which is also the new prime officers. Now, this is the original. This is one that we've talked about quite extensively for, well, what, 2 years now? A long time. To the point where, when we get asked, what are the primes that you should go for? Like, if you were to spend $100, where to spend it in the game, we would always direct you here. And I want to talk about how that may have changed, and honestly, how it is changed, and new strategies in the game as the game continues and how the game changes. We have to adapt to that. Also, some cool things we'll talk about at the end of the stream, or the end of the video. They've made some changes to the game. I mean, more and more, they're pushing players into 40 plus, which is where I'm now at. Now, if you're a lower level player or in a lower server or newer server, don't worry. This is still some important information that you need for yourself. So you see the original prime officers here. This has been out for quite some time. For those that don't remember, this takes 4-star crystal to unlock. We'll talk about why that's important in a little bit. Now, recently with this newest patch, you come down here to prime survival skills. You'll find the exact same thing. Increasing attack, defense, and health for all officers. But this one costs 5-star gas, and then also the 50 million dilithium, which will be a lot for you. But here you go. Plus 100% to attack, defense, and health of all officers. And then right back down here, the exact same thing. Plus 100% to the attack, defense, and health of all officers. We're kind of worded slightly differently. I don't know why. But the exact same prime, essentially. A second time. Now, the first question that people asked was, does this make the first prime less valuable? In a sense, it does. Because here's the key to both of these primes. If you were to go and want to purchase them in the store, then you would go to the little icon up here, and you would find a $100 price tag for each one. So, like, for example, here's prime officer stats. Right there. All good and dandy, lots in the pack, which might convince a lot of people to go in and get it. It helps you pay for the pack as well as giving a few other added essentials, which is nice. And then there's your uncommon gas that you're going to need to get that ship. Into that prime. Now, theoretically, anyway, when they start allowing you to scrap 4-star ships, you'll be able to get that as a free-to-play route. Right now, prime officer stats at the time of this video is not a free-to-play accessible item. There's no way to get the 5-star gas. There's no free to play there yet. So technically, yes, you can, but since the highest free to play in the game is currently level 45, nobody's in the range of going after the 5-star stuff yet as a free to play. For the purpose of this video at the time, we're going to say that it's a paid only option. But prime officers, so the first one, is actually going to also be in the same store for $100, but all it's giving you is the 4-star uncommon needed to then go and get that prime. So they cost the exact same amount and do the exact same thing. Now, at the end of the day, how that's going to benefit you the most in the game is things like making sure that you complete your officer bonus on your ships. For those that don't remember, we can, let's get out of the away teams because that's where I was going. But let's go here first. So we're going to hop into here and look at assign officers. And you can see right over on the far right of the screen are officer bonuses. So we'll have varying bonuses for varying ships and basically on the degree of the ship, 3-star, 4-star, 5-star, etc. But for most of you, you'll be looking to max out at 300%. That's really where you're trying to get your officer stats to. Having prime officers makes doing that much, much easier. And that also will then make your ship stronger, have more attack points, have more hull health, and thus survive and defeat more enemies. So it works, and you see a direct correlation to strength gaining by having prime officers. Now that you have prime survival skills, which I think probably better just to word it as prime officers 2.0. Now that you have that, and by the way, ignore the crew. That was just for something we were screwing around with. This is not a real ISS jelly. Somebody's going to make a comment. Rev Deuce is going to tell you right now, this is not an ISS jelly crew. This is just something that got thrown together for a reason during the live stream. Ignore it. So taking all that into account, you can then look, hey, maybe I should get one of these things. And you're right that you exactly should. Now, the key as well, number 2, away teams. You want to get as many stats as you can stack in here. I've got 2 Imperial strategies, which is 2 Romulan sets of missions that I need to run today. And I will run them with Charvanik as soon as Charvanik is off of the ship. So I'll run through these. But having more stats to make sure you complete. Remember, the formula for away teams is the primary stat. So example, health here counts for 1 point, and the other stats are secondary. So they would count for half a point. So if you had health, that's 1, and then defense and attack would be 0.5 each. So if you had one of each, you would have 2 total points going towards this mission, getting you to your chance of success. So the most stats that you can stack is good. Even if it's not a primary stat, you want as many stats to all your officers as possible. Now here's the real key. Not buying prime officers anymore. Now, if you're a low-level player, say level 20, when prime officers becomes available to be purchased, it definitely will give you a boost because you're not able to get prime officers for free until level 34. But if you want to buy it early and have it very early in the game, you certainly can, and you will notice a significant advantage when it comes to your officer stats, the way that you're able to use certain officers effectively. For example, Spock. We talk about Spock regenerating shields all the time. Well, he needs defensive stats from your officers to do that effectively. That's really going to help that out. Zhao, 5 of 10. Marcus, Kang, Sharvanik, DJ Aoki. So many officers that will use these stats to build up. All the anti-faction officers. All that aside, if you want to get it and purchase it for $100, you can. But if you're thinking long-term, getting to level 34, getting it for free, and then buying the new version is simply the more pragmatic way to go about it and definitely the more financially efficient way to go about it. Because at the end of the day, these 2 primes are right there as probably the most valuable primes in the game. There are other valuable primes. Prime Borg Rewards is a very valuable prime, greatly increasing the amount of independent credits that you can get every single day with a Max Vidar in your refinery. That's fantastic. But in terms of actually impacting immediate gameplay, prime officers and prime survival skills, which is just prime officers 2.0, are giving you a definite advantage in jumping you high up. Now, they will stack together. They do work together. So if you have one and you have the other, it's a 200% bonus to the base stats of all officers. And that is going to be a fantastic increase in your gameplay. So they're worth it. But the strategy now is, instead of getting and purchasing prime officers for $100, making sure that you get it for free by scrapping a D3 or a Mayflower or at level 34 or D3. Yeah, because you need crystal. Or you need gas. D3 or Mayflower for sure will give it to you. For some reason, in the middle of this video, I'm having a hot flash, I guess, and forgetting everything. But I'm telling you for sure, with 100% certainty, scrapping a Mayflower or D3. Or definitely scrapping a D3. I'm doing it again. I'm self-doubting. Hey, laugh at Rev in the comment section below. But point I'm making is scrapping ships at 34, which is something that I try to get everybody to do anyway. And I recommend scrapping one of each. Is going to get you what you need so that you can get the first prime officers. And if you want to spend $100 getting prime survival skills, this is where your $100 should go. This is an example of the economy getting better for the game, that prime officers can be gotten for free. Prime Officers 2.0 is the next level of paywall, but there's also been other things that have happened to the game to make it better. For example, this is a huge thing for free-to-play in particular. One of the biggest issues for 4-star has been for a long time, if you wanted to, say, use Latinum to get commons. So if I wanted to, say, click on this cargo bay and I needed 4,000 common refined ore. Well, if I wanted to buy that previously with Latinum, 4,000 would equate to 40,000 Latinum. The exchange rate was 10 to 1, which is absolutely absurd. Now they've changed it. It's 4 to 1, very much like it is in the 3-star economy. So now you're seeing the ability as a free-to-play to continue to move up more, because you've got away teams paying. I had an away teams mission just today hit critical, and I got 10,000 Latinum. That was using the Eurydice mission, where the focus is Latinum and then the away team currency. So now that we're able to procure Latinum easier, and they've made it to where you can refine Latinum, or I'm sorry, convert Latinum to ores or gas or crystal, whatever common that you need, you're now getting a much easier run pushing through to the early 40s. These are just some small ways the economy is getting better, encouraging people to go up to the next level. So right now, if you're watching this video and you're considering what primes to go after, I would not spend money on prime officers unless you just want to have a big advantage early on in the game. You can get it for free without having to spend any money. And if you want to make sure, am I ready for going into the 40s? Well, one of the things that held a lot of people back was that the economy wasn't ready. Between the repair fixes in terms of the cost, lowering the actual cost of certain things, we now have the biotics that pay out resources a lot more. Events are paying out more in terms of uncommon. I still recommend doing things like camping at level 39 and preparing for the 40s. But if you're free to play out there, getting there is much better than it was a year and a half, 2 years ago when it first arrived. And a lot of that's because the 5-star economy has dropped out as well. So it's now out there to where you can get to level 60. So If you enjoyed the video and it helped you, smash the like button. I know a lot of people were asking about this Prime, so just a quick recap, I think for the third time. Don't buy Prime Officers. Buy Prime Survival Stats. If you want to spend money, save your $100. Get one for free at level 34. And we'll see if they open up this scrapping option to maybe make it to where in the future you're getting this one for free too. But we'll have to have a new update video for when that happens, because who are you going to go to? This guy. I'm always around. Live long and prosper. Stay safe with those Space Cowboys. We'll catch you in the next one. Deuces. That's me. And we outie.
An even better outro than the intro. For the Empire and glory to your house.